Testosterone.
Hello, mommy. I have a mummy. He's chasing me. He's a mummy and he's chasing me. Mummy returns. What's the guy's actor's name? Has he been in anything since that movie? I don't know. But what episode is it, guys? That was really loud. What episode is it, guys?
49.
Yeah. It's 48, dude. It's episode 48. Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Out here, S&Ds and TNNs. You know what I'm saying, dude? We're talking about matchups, baby. This is the matchups part 2. In the first episode, we covered the first 6 games that are listed. If you want to know what game we're talking about today in this episode, I'm going to tell you them right now. We got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Buccaneers, the Detroit Lions against the Redskins, the Titans against Jaguars, Patriots against the Cowboys, San Francisco against Green Bay Packers, the Eagles against the Seahawks, the other birds. That's another bird off, boys. We got ourselves a bird off. And then on the last one, we got the Baltimore Ravens playing Anthony's favorite team, the Los Angeles.
That was a hard ass headbutt. I think I broke the mic. Can you still hear my audio?
Like $100 mic. All right, dude, let's get this game.
Audio is gonna be distorted for the next 60 minutes until the next episode.
If you want to catch Anthony headbutting his mic like the best Los Angeles Ram you've ever seen, go check us out on YouTube. Actually, I've been trying to post these onto the Instagram, IGTV. So the full episodes are there too at @AverageBros_fantasy football. If you want to just watch on your phone, easy. You can actually scroll through. It's not like the old Instagram videos where it's just started over from the beginning. So you can watch Anthony out here headbutting mics.
Headbutt that mic.
Like a gosh darn savage. Okay. All right. Now. Let's get into it, boys. This podcast is brought to you by Eat Ass. Eat Ass. Ass is a supplement that's good in an everyday diet. It's now, they had the food pyramid before. They didn't understand. They had grain, eat all this grain. They had meat up at the top. It just was all over the place. Now they have the main food group in the food pyramid is ass, actually. So if you don't have enough ass, eat ass. Thank you to our sponsor, Ass Eating.
Didn't they make a video game, EA Ass? It's in your mouth.
Jesus.
EA Ass. It's in your mouth.
Dude, I used to love that in the old hockey game. It was always a different hockey player that was like, EA Sports. It's in the game, and they always had like fucked up teeth, or they would just get like demolished right after. Me and my brother used to love that.
I remember the only hockey game I played, I would literally try to get in a fight every play.
Yeah.
I remember it was like some hockey game when you had a B to get in a fight. I'd be like, B. Oh,
we would always play as the New Jersey Devils because back in the day they had Martin Brodeur, that goalie. He was like really good, and we would every time you got the ball, it'd be like Brodeur, and we just thought, I don't know, we thought that was funny. But it's not funny. Losing in fantasy football, that's not funny. Negative. And guess what? We're here. We're gonna make sure that doesn't happen, right, boys?
I had a match this week that I thought I lost, and I didn't know. I looked at my record this week, and I was like, wait, I gotta win.
Hey, it's a pleasant surprise. A stat correction comes in, and all of a sudden you win the game. Okay, well. Let's get it started, boys. Let's start on the Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What side do you guys want to talk on first? Speak on, I suppose.
The bird side?
Let's talk on the bird side, the Atlanta Falcons. Tyler had a little, he didn't know if he was going to play Matt Ryan or if he was going to play
The Bake Show.
Baker Mayfield. So now we're on the other side of things. What are you thinking here, Tyler?
I mean, I think you're still down on Matt Ryan right here.
I think he's a good quarterback play this week.
I mean, at home, the Bucs' pass defenses. I know you were saying they were kind of turning it around, getting a little bit better, but still struggling in the secondary. But I still think I'm going to lean Baker Mayfield here. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a monster game against the Dolphins. Just my own personal opinion here, but
yeah. What do you feel about that, Anthony? Because I know you weren't here in this previous episode, but. We were just kind of hyping Baker Mayfield up. Would you play Matt Ryan or Baker Mayfield?
I'd go Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
It's just This
don't
if
trust.
I'd be risk adverse, especially if I'm on the cusp of a playoff, to start Baker Mayfield when he hasn't done it against teams that are even just as bad as Miami on defense. So it's like, could he have a big game? Yeah, that's definitely in the cards. It's 100% there. But for me, it's risk adverse. I know Matt Ryan's going to have at least an above average game, if not, a 303 game against the Bucs. Versus where Baker Mayfield is, he's got that risk. So that's my mad at you if you start Baker Mayfield. No, I think it could be a great start, but at the same time, for me, it's a risk adverse play.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both good plays.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah, I think they're both decent plays, especially with a lot of guys on buys this week.
I mean, 51.5 over under, so highest over under of the week. I mean, you always want as much action from the games with the highest over unders. You always want to get like as many pieces from that game as you can, so you won't be mad at it. What about Brian Hill, though, the running back for the Falcons? So he kind of burned. A lot of people went out to go get him. Like me personally, I went to go get him last week. The matchup was money against Carolina. Their run defense is pretty bad. And, I know you said that he had a touchdown call back, but I think he only had like 15 carries for like 30 yards. He did pretty bad. So Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their run defense is actually way better. I mean, you feel comfortable throwing him in there? Or like for me personally, like he burned me once in a good matchup. I can't imagine throwing him back in my lineup in a tough matchup,
I mean, you had a couple things you thought on that with the Buccaneers. You were talking about on the last on the waiver wire episode, Anthony, about how the Buccaneers defensive coaching is changing.
That was the Falcons.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Same matchup.
No. You said
it was the.
You said
Falcons.
on the Buccaneers too.
No.
Well, I gave some misinformation in the past podcast. Then.
I'm kind of pretty much what Tyler said. I just echo off what he said. It's he couldn't do it in a good matchup. I have a hard time, especially with a bad offensive line, thinking he's going to get it done in a not good matchup. I'm probably unless he's more of a desperation running back for me this week, where it's like I have who's on a bye this week. Maybe I have David Johnson and Melvin Gordon as my 1-2, or I have Cook and maybe DJ, something like that. And I need a running back this week. That's where I'm playing him. But tough matchup for him. Offensive line is not a good. They just haven't been good all year, so I'm probably staying away from him.
Yeah, I mean, I had him in one league. I threw him in my lineup last week, so the matchup was money. He put up a dud. It was either this week. It was either him or Naheem Hines, and I threw Naheem Hines in there. And he got me like 7-8 points, something like that. Nothing great, but I just didn't feel comfortable throwing Brian Hill in there in a tough matchup against a pretty stout Buccaneers run defense. I mean, I think for the for the receivers here, I mean, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, you're starting them. They should have monster games, both those guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, would you be starting like a Russell Gage? Is that his name, Russell Gage?
Or
like the backup tight end for the Falcons?
I'm probably not starting the backup tight end in like a deeper 3 wide receiver type of league. I mean, if it's a PPR 3 wide receiver, I guess Russell Gage is someone you can throw out there in a desperation situation.
Yeah. I'd probably be staying away from both those guys. It'd just be Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. I think those guys both have monster games this week. Falcons defense. Maybe if you can turn it around.
I think. Did we talk about this in waiver wire? I think this is probably what I talked about in waiver wire.
We did a little bit.
I mean, Jameis. I mean, I own him in one league. That's it. Thank God. But I think it's been 13 interceptions over the last 5 games. Something like 15 or 16 turnovers in the last 6 games. He's just turnover prone, and could he throw for 400 yards? But he might also throw for 4 interceptions. That Falcons defense over the last 2 weeks, I think it was 3 points to the Carolina Panthers the week before, and it was like 9 points to the Saints, and the Saints scored in garbage time on a prevent in defense. And they fired their coordinator, or not they fired their coordinator, Dan Quinn. That's head coach, right?
Dan Quinn, yeah.
Dan Quinn basically gave up coaching duties for the defense and play calling, and ever since then, that defense has been electric in a sense for 2 weeks. So, could it be a 2-week fluke? Yeah, that's possible. But is Jameis prone for picks? And maybe this scheme is fitting what the players do. Now, if the defensive coaches are out there doing it, that's a possibility. And it's, like I said, this could be a 35-32 game, and the Falcons could still put up 20+ because they scored 2 defensive touchdowns on Jameis. So, I like it.
I mean, following the trends, like you said, the defense has been playing good lately. They're at home. Jameis just turned the ball over, so not mad at it.
Not mad.
Speaking of Jameis Winston, are you dialing him up in this one? I mean, I think so. I think it's a 51-point over/under. You got to, like I said, you want it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like he's the one, because that's the one league I have. And I look at his numbers, and he still puts up numbers. I think he had 1 week under 10 points, but I mean maybe in a 4 point it'd be different. But he still throws for like 300 plus every game, even with the turnovers. He gets a few rushing yards, and he still throws for his couple touchdowns a game. So, like I said, I do like Falcons defense, but Jameis always has that upside, and he's had a relatively decent floor because he hasn't been getting pulled. Like last year, he would go out there for a half, and he'd have a decent half, throw some picks, and he'd get pulled. So at least they're letting him go out there and just be pick city for 4 quarters.
I mean, one thing I can say about Jameis is like he does throw for 300 yards almost every game. I feel like.
Yeah, it might be every game except for maybe one.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. So yeah, I think you dial up Jameis Winston in this one. What about the running back? You got Ronald Jones, who's kind of taking over the main role over there in Tampa Bay.
Why did you say it? Why did you say it like that?
It's a long story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we don't want to share a story with you, right?
Oh, okay, that's fine.
What do you think about you hate Bucs running backs, Mike? So tell us.
I think I talked about it last week. I kind of changed my opinion. I think that Ronald Jones, if the matchup is worth it, I would play him. I think you were talking about. Obviously, I got it wrong, but the Falcons' defense changing, I might temper playing him this week. But I mean, if you had David Johnson and Ronald Jones is there, sure, I that's fine. You know what I mean? Just with that, how many running backs are out, I wouldn't mind playing him. But temper expectations, I guess.
But play him, but don't. But do. For me, he's kind of a lower end RB. He's like in the RB3 range for me. If I have 2 or 3 top 24 plays, I'm going a different direction.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we've seen, he had a good week 2 weeks ago on the ground. I mean, if this is a game where they were last week they were trailing against the Saints, he only had 4 carries in that game. If Atlanta gets out and they play tight defense, you could see another potential bust game. So, like I said, he's outside of the top 25, maybe even top 30. Probably at my top 30 running backs potentially.
I mean, just throw some other names out there. You starting Ronald Jones or Kalen Ballage?
I was like, who's the Dolphins play? I had to think for a second. Pull the trigger twice, just in case
Double
the first
tap,
one didn't go
double
through. I might go. Fucking, that's pretty gross. I might go. I'd go Jones, just because I just think they have better opportunity. He gets goal line work. Ballage is just it's painful to watch Ballage.
Yeah. What about Ronald Jones or one of these Detroit running backs?
I'd do Ronald Jones.
I'd go Ronald Jones.
I'd maybe go Bo Scarborough over. Yeah. Because I could see Detroit being up against Washington, and I could see the game script where Detroit's up enough and they just kind of grind out this win with Driscoll and defensive play against Dwayne Suckskins, and he gets a 15 to 17 carry game. So I think I'd go Bo Scarborough on that one.
Yeah. What about Ronald Jones or Jalen Samuels?
What's his latest status on?
James
I
Conner's
think Conner's out, right?
James Conner's out.
Oh, Jalen Samuels.
Jalen Samuels. I go Jalen Samuels.
Yeah.
I was like, I just popped up a second ago. I was like, I forgot.
Just a couple names, throwing them out there.
Yeah.
All right, but I mean, receiver-wise, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, you're dialing them up. Those guys are top 20 plays probably. What about the tight end situation here? It's like 1 week, O.J. Howard has the monster game. Not even a monster game. It was a monster game for him, against the Cardinals, but everyone has a good game against the Cardinals. So then it's like you kind of drink the Kool-Aid, like, oh, he's back. And then next week he comes out and he puts up a goose egg, and you get Brait, who gets, I think it was 14 targets the next game. So you rolling the dice on Brait or O.J. Howard?
I am taking those dice and throwing them out the window because I'm not starting a Bucs tight end.
I wouldn't feel confident starting a Bucs tight end at all. We kind of touched on the last episode, but you got like the Jets tight end Ryan Griffin. He's available. I mean, I'd rather even start like a Mike Gesicki or a Noah Fant over one of these Bucs tight ends here. You just don't know what you're going to get.
I'll start anyone.
It's just, I'll start me over it. I got as many points as O.J. Howard, so.
Yeah, I cut him in everywhere I had him.
He's dead to me. He's probably the biggest bust in the whole year.
Yeah, at least at the tight end position, if not every position.
Yeah, no, he's probably the biggest bust.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's defense. Okay, I guess that says it all.
Not in a 51-point over-under.
That says enough. All right, so now we got Detroit, the Lions, at the Washington Redskins. 3.5-point favorites. The Detroit Lions are 42-point over/under. That is it's not the lowest.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about the Bills game. 37.
Is that a machine gun?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, can you
want to
believe
massacre
it?
someone
Can
over there?
you believe it, dude? Can you believe it?
Detroit side of the ball. I mean, just who do you even feel comfortable playing on the Detroit side of the ball here? I mean, Stafford's supposed to be out again, right?
I actually like Driscoll as a streamer.
Oh, Driscoll.
Oh, Driscoll.
He's
got them bullets, those legs be running.
It's a copycat league, and I seen Driscoll really trying to do the spin move that Lamar Jackson took advantage on the against the Bengals the week before. So Jeff Driscoll, he's trying to attempt to be that rushing quarterback, so I don't mind throwing him in the lineup. With Kyler Murray on bye, I can totally understand a situation where you would want to play Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, I'm actually starting him in one league. I think it was we were touching on the waiver wire episode. 38 yards rushing, 51 yards rushing. He's thrown for 200 plus, and I think at least a touchdown in every game. Had a rushing touchdown. Tampa Bay is like not Tampa Bay, sorry. The Washington Redskins, I think, are the bottom 3 in pressure rate. And so when you have a quarterback who's not the best quarterback, but they're not able to get pressure, and when you do have those weapons in Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay, I think he's in store for a pretty decent game. And I said, I always say, if he can get 40 yards rushing, it's basically another touchdown in a 2-point per passing league. So if he or 4-point per passing league. So if he throws for 202 and he rushes for another 40 yards, you're basically getting 203. And I'm not mad at that against the Washington Redskins, who, I mean, they might not win again.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
So with that said, I mean, I'm still starting Kenny Golladay. You can still throw Marvin Jones out. He's just been a red zone monster.
I feel like Marvin Jones has been the guy he's been leaning on more over Golladay.
Yeah, I think the target distribution has been, I'll pull it up right now, but I think it's been relatively similar. I think Marvin Jones has just gotten in the end zone a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mike, receivers?
I mean, what about the running backs? You got Scarborough. I mean, Ty Johnson. It's just a mess over there. I would want to stay away from any Detroit running back.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, go Scarborough. Go Scarborough would be the only one I would consider. He did have 14 carries last week and a touchdown, so he did get the goal line carry. I don't know if he saw a target, but he didn't put anything on the stat sheet. It's
J.D. McKissick is hurt, or
no. I'm actually playing JD. I'm playing JD.
I just think there's too many mouths to feed over there, and you just don't know. It could be like a hot hand approach of, okay, maybe McKissick is hot, maybe Ty Johnson's hot, maybe Scarborough's hot. Just
PPR.
If they don't find the end zone, I don't think any of these running backs are going to give you enough volume and the yardage or receiving wise to give them a safe floor.
Agree.
I think J.D. McKissick is PPR only. Don't play him a standard. I think he had 3 rushing attempts last week. So.
Yes, that's not good.
But he had 3 receptions, so for 40 yards, not bad. 53 scrimmage yards. Not good, but not nothing. David Johnson.
You're not wrong there.
David Johnson got me 0 points. Is my point. Okay. Do you want 0 points or you want 7? Okay.
I'll take 7.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
You will take 7.
TJ Hawk.
No,
TJ.
I don't know.
TJ Knockinson.
TJ Knockinson.
TJ not starting sim.
TJ not gonna be in my lineups.
Yeah. Agree.
TJ Cuttinson. I don't know. I ran out of shit.
Lions defense. You said you like the Lions.
Doesn't work here anymore. Who cares?
You said you like the Lions defense.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I like the king of the jungle this week.
I like Dwayne. Yeah, you like the counselor defense?
No, is that what he said?
No, remember he's always talking about being a lion.
Yeah.
You got to be a lion, dude.
Not a sheep.
You gotta,
Not a sheep.
bro.
Did you put out an actual statistic in the last 6 months,
No.
or is it just him yelling?
This
at
guy
people?
sucks.
Idiots.
Conchipsus.
The point that the funniest thing is he's like, you guys are all lions, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, well, the point of a sheep is it's in a herd. So it's if you're saying everybody's a lion, is it a herd of lions? That doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Not everybody can be a lion.
Yeah.
What if they've eaten everything? Now they're just eating each other.
But that's what I mean. It's gonna be cannibalism, dude.
That's lions eating lions.
And that's just not what you want in fantasy football, okay? But you could definitely stream the Lions defense here, okay?
All right, Washington Redskins.
I accidentally played the Lions defense last week, by the way. -6 points. Sick.
Ooh, you're pretty good at those negative defense points.
Yeah.
Late in the year, late in the year when it counts.
It's not golf, bro. You don't want negative.
Late in the
You
year
don't want
when
a double
it counts.
bogey on your defense.
Yeah.
Listen, dude.
Redskins,
Hey, if
you
you're gonna
starting-
listen to one of these guys on this podcast, don't listen to me.
You starting anyone on the Redskins?
That being said, start the Lions defense. Say again. Dwayne Haskins, no.
I mean, I'm not mad at these running backs. Detroit is the worst against the run, and I mean, we kind of saw a little bit of guys getting, back first game back from the injury.
Darius Goose.
I'm not mad at Darius Geis and AP. I think they'll probably split the workload. They'll probably see about. I'm guessing. I mean, what do I know? It's obviously the coaches and what they dictate, but I'm guessing they each see around like 12 to 15 touches. So against a bad run defense in Detroit, I think you can start both these guys if you're in a pinch, like low end RB2 guys right here. I got to start Geis in one of my leagues. We got Dalvin Cook on the bye. I have like no depth at the position, so yeah, I'm not mad at either one of those guys.
Yeah, if you're in a pinch. You starting McLaurin in this matchup, or just too much of a bad Haskins play? And
I'm just worried about Darius Slay shadowing him and kind of blanketing him, and maybe Haskins doesn't really force him the ball because it's tight coverage the whole game. He doesn't want to make any mistakes, so I'd be fading McLaurin.
yeah, just with Haskins there, it might be pretty hard to start him for the rest of the year. It's not Slade doesn't worry me too much. It's more Haskins worries me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Dwayne Haskins does not look good on the NFL level.
He looks terrible. If Case Keenum would come back, then we could change this whole scenario.
Yeah,
but
for sure. Sure.
He's not. So I think that's pretty much it on the Redskins. You guys agree?
Yeah, pretty much.
What about one of those tight ends? Just kidding.
What's the next matchup, Mike?
We got
Michael?
We got the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee is favored by 3 points. This is a 41.5 over under. Kind of on the lower ends of over unders when it comes to Week 12. Let's start on the Titans side. You playing Ryan Tannehill?
I don't hate it.
I'm not mad at Tannehill. He's been pretty consistent.
He did just rape the Chiefs.
Yeah, Tannehill time, baby.
3 Ps. That was like the most excited for a game I've been all year. I'm not even like.
Really?
We were,
Yeah.
we were watching.
We were watching it. We were like, Tannehill. I was like, the Dolphins win. It's like not meaningless, but we're just like, oh, cool, we won. We beat the Colts, which is fucking pointless because now we got a better draft pick.
Yeah,
And then
or
it's
a
like-
worse one.
Or well, yeah, better or worse, whatever. Worse for us. Better.
Do you
for-
have a Colts first round pick?
No, it's just like there's some teams who might not like only have one win, so it's like
Yeah, no,
we're
I
in
know what
tank
you mean.
mode, and it's like instead of getting the first or
Don't worry,
second
bro.
pick,
The
now we get the
Steelers,
fourth.
the
fourth
Steelers will lose to the Bengals this week. We got you.
You got me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, since you guys gave us Minka and we feel like that was too much of a steal, we're gonna go ahead and lose this one for you guys.
Yeah.
Call it even. We're like,
Just blow.
Eh,
Fuck,
eh,
dude, fuck our playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Tannehill, though. Just some numbers on him. The Titans have scored 3 or more touchdowns in all 4 of his starts. 300-plus passing yards in 2 of those 4 starts. And pretty much in the 4-point standard quarterback scoring, he's gotten you 19 or more points in all 4 games. So a safe floor for Tannehill right here. I mean, coming off a bye, they're at home. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I have got Tannehill in one league. I think I'm going to stream him this week. Plus, the schedule going forward is pretty juicy. So if you're just matchup playing your quarterbacks, you don't have like a stud like a Lamar or Deshaun, Russell Wilson, one of these guys that's a set it and forget it quarterback. If you're streaming quarterbacks, playing the matchups, Tannehill could be a guy you go grab and down the stretch. I think it's weeks 14, 15, 16. It's all green rated matchups, so it could be a sneaky guy. Kind of just helps you. I mean, with a safe floor of 19 points, in the 4-point passing touchdown leagues, just a guy who gets you a safe floor each and every week. It could be a nice guy to grab and stash.
Ryan Tannehill. That's hot.
Derrick Henry, start him. Receivers,
AJ Brown, light him up. I'm playing AJ Brown. Are you playing AJ Brown?
I'm torn. In one of my leagues, I'm torn. I need a second receiver, and
Tell me your situation. I'll help you.
Corey Davis and AJ Brown are out there. I've got Robbie Anderson in there right now, for the home run potential.
Robbie Anderson does have a good matchup.
But I'm
Now,
thinking
if I were
about
you-
grabbing one of these guys potentially. I mean, we've kind of saw, with Corey Davis in the lineup in PPR leagues, AJ Brown had 12 points, 9 points, and 12 points. That was with Corey Davis. Then the one game without Corey Davis, you would think that he would see an uptick in targets and maybe have a monster game. But I think he finished for 1 catch for 17 yards on 4 targets. So maybe it's one of those scenarios where having Corey Davis on the field actually benefits him and helps him going forward. They're all coming out of a bye, so they've had extra time to prepare. I'm kind of expecting AJ Bouye to be on Corey Davis more than AJ Brown. So I'm kind of leaning, if I'm going to start one, AJ Brown. I mean, what's your guys' thoughts on it?
I'm probably staying away. That's just me. I have him, and it's like, do I start McLaurin, Anderson, Brown? I'm like, I might have to find someone on the waiver wire.
Yeah. I just think that especially this week, there's just like a lot of
I just don't like
receiving.
I don't like really fucking with inconsistency at this point of the year, and it's like,
dude, listen, you got Keenan Allen on bye, you got Diggs on bye, you got Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk on bye, you got Tyreek Hill, even though he might be injured. I don't remember the status on that. You got a lot of these top tier receivers on bye. So that being said, is like you're probably in a spot where you might have to play AJ Brown. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I said, they have scored 3 or more touchdowns in all 4 of the games. So, I mean, someone's got to score over there.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, you would think, would at least get one. I mean, what? It's kind of, I guess, you're flipping a coin on what receiver you think. Because no Delaney Walker again. You got Jonnu Smith out there, but I'm not really sold on Jonnu Smith.
I just seen AJ Brown get it more done than Corey Davis.
Yeah, I mean, just an interesting number for AJ Brown here. He's averaging 6.4 yards after the catch, and that's actually tied 4th best in the NFL. So
that's
when he gets the ball open in space, a little bit better. So I mean, like I said, if I was going to pick one of those two, I'd probably lean AJ Brown because I think having Corey Davis opposite side of the field of him actually benefits him because now the main corner's focusing on Corey Davis and not AJ Brown. But
listen, dude, you're making some valid points. What tight end? Did you say something about tight end? Excuse me.
And they got Jonnu Smith there, but I wouldn't feel comfortable playing him. No. I think you got a guy like Ryan Griffin. Like I said, he's got to be out.
Would you play Gesicki or Jonnu Smith?
Gesicki.
Would you play OJ Howard or Jonnu Smith?
I'll play everyone over OJ Howard. Yeah, you can put a guy that's out of the league.
I'm playing Rob Gronkowski over OJ Howard
for sure. Okay, sounds good. Were you playing Tennessee's defense?
I do like Tennessee's defense. I mean, they're at home. Like I said, it's a division game. They're at home. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Jacksonville
against Big Dick Nick.
I do, yeah. I do like the Titans defense this week.
You're crazy.
Was that your big Dick Nick impression going wild?
I just can't believe the words I'm hearing. That being said, are you playing Big Dick Nick?
I'd be fading Big Dick Nick.
Anthony, what would you if someone asked you, Jacoby Brissett or Nick Foles, who would you have told them to play?
Like before last night?
Yes.
Probably Brissett.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be honest.
I gave advice yesterday, 10 minutes before the game.
I probably would went with Brissett.
Yes,
in that one.
They were upset with me.
Yeah, I mean, so basically we're saying Brissett's kind of that QB2 streaming type of quarterback, and if we're starting Brissett over Foles, and we're kind of saying stay away. You start Fournette. You start your Fournettes. I think that might be his worst game of the year. And it was still like 7 points or 8 points.
Yeah, he's still putting on points, even though.
Yeah, I mean you're not benching him.
Not the best.
It comes down to DJ Chark, and I mean you're not really benching Chark at this point. The dude's been consistent from quarterback to quarterback, week to week. I guess the questionable play would be more on the D.D. Westbrook side. I said start Fournette, start Chark, and then I think D.D. Westbrook's the player that you'd have to discuss about. Just got tongue twisted.
Yeah, I mean one thing I saw it is kind of interesting, but we kind of thought that D.D. Westbrook would be the guy that Foles would lean on. But out of the 55 pass attempts that Nick Foles has had so far this year, I think the leading guy was DJ Chark with the most targets. But surprisingly, out of the 55, D.D. Westbrook only has 6 targets out of 55, and that's not
good.
That's not good. Yeah, you got guys like Fournette, Chris Conley, and Chark obviously a bit ahead of him. So I'm kind of nervous this week. Like I said, Tennessee's defense have an extra week to prepare. I mean, if he's not getting the targets, it's kind of gross right there. I mean, it's what is that, like a 10% target share pretty much? 6 targets out of 55.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's not even including the running backs and receiver. Or that's total targets?
That was total targets,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
6
out of 55.
Yeah, it's about 9%. Yeah. 9.6.
Yeah. That's not good.
That could be right. That could be wrong. It's in that range.
Not good. It's not good is what we like to say. So.
Any tight end in Jacksonville, I still think they haven't found one, so I think we're good there. Jax D or
I don't know. Tannehill's been pretty consistent. He hasn't really been turning the ball over.
He's been getting sacked some though, and it is. You said that it's. This is. I feel like these games are always low scoring.
Yeah.
They're like 17-7. So kind of. This is where I don't mind the defensive play. Where if you think it's going to be a low scoring game, maybe a 17-10, 17-13, and you think they can get 3 or 4 sacks, and then it's just the sacks and the low scoring makes it a decent defensive play this week.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Mike, you got anything on that? Or are you good?
No, I
No one cares. Okay. New England.
if I play a defense, I play Titans over Jacksonville. That's what I was going to say.
Just fuck with you.
I know.
You got America's team versus the New England.
I
was like,
I seen the Patriots first. I was like, the Patriots are the America's team?
Nah, it's the Dallas Cowboys and then the New England Patriots. New England's favored by 6.5 points. This is in New England, and it's a 46-point over-under. This isn't really fantasy, but I feel like that's kind of a lower over-under for the Cowboys and the Patriots. What do you guys think of just that?
I just think the Patriots' offense can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
be
It's
true.
like if the defense scores, maybe. But that's, yeah.
We could just say
about it.
some news is that Tom Brady is listed as questionable with a elbow injury or elbow soreness or something like that. I mean, he's probably going to play, but just
Bumped
Ooh,
up into Ben Roethlisberger.
maybe he was. Robert Kraft was like, "Hey, I haven't been able to make my stops, Brady. I'm
He's
gonna
like,
need you
me
to.
and my son are on the way.
I'm gonna need you to give me a massage, Brady.
Bring your son. This is serious.
God damn it, Brady. All right, so Brady's out there.
That was a great impression of, what was that from?
Team America.
Yeah, that was great. That's good. I like that.
I mean, if Brady's out there, I mean, you starting him.
God damn it, Brady.
I mean, it's been rough for Brady.
What's his quarterback like overall like number on the year? Like he's quarterback
I think he's just one of those guys
14, 15, 16, worse.
he
Quarterback 11.
It's
But,
actually higher than I thought.
I mean,
That's what I
he
thought
started
too.
off hot. I mean, in the beginning of the year, it's 25, 25, 20. Then he had a dud against Buffalo, only 4 points. 24, 22. So a lot of 20s. But then ever since then, since week 7, 12, 18, 13, 8. So it's pretty rough right here. He hasn't topped 300 yards in 4 straight games. Only multiple touchdown passes in one of those last 4 games as well. Actually, multiple touchdown passes, one in his last 5 games. So pretty rough. He's got 3 games where he's got 3 games where he has 0 touchdown passes.
That's not good.
That's what we
That's
like to
what we
call not horny.
So it's probably a lower end kind of. Would you stream?
Like I'd rather start
stream
Tannehill. I would start.
I was gonna say me too. Would you start Jameis?
I'd start Jameis over him.
Yeah, I think the boom upside's there at least too with Jameis.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's think of some guys. Would you go with Derek Carr?
Tyler hates
Just
Derek
don't
Carr.
like Derek Carr.
Tyler hates Derek Carr as much as I hate
The Bucs running backs.
It's very similar type of hate. So I would get an answer for that for him, and he'd probably play Brady. Damn fucking Brady.
I might lean Carr actually. I don't know. This is getting pretty ugly right now for Brady. I mean, just bad matchup.
I go Carr.
I'd probably lean Carr actually.
Him being questionable, I think it changes a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, with him being questionable, I guess. So we're just basically saying we don't like after we dig into it. Looks like we don't like him that much this week.
Yeah.
The running backs, you trust in anyone in this matchup? I mean, is it?
James White has been pretty much a locked and loaded RB2 each and every week.
Yeah, he's been like what you talk about, like we're trying to think of some names, like the John Brown, Devontae Parker every week, where it's like he hasn't scored, but he's like 8, 9, 10 points every week.
Yeah.
Until
And it's
last.
a little PPR format. Standard is different, but
Yeah.
I think standard you get away. PPR, it's like all right, cool. Like, and then I feel like he's due for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Just targets and touches wise, like he's probably like one of those guys who's touched the ball so many times, and it's almost like there's regression coming towards a touchdown for him.
What about like Sony Michelle? I'm just glad I don't have Michelle in any of my leagues. This is
traded-
kind of why I stayed
I'm glad
away
I
from
dumped him
him.
at the perfect time.
Yeah, and I just don't want to deal with him. But I know he's been terrible as of late.
Yeah, I'm probably staying away. I was like, well, if Brady's out, do they lean on him? But then I'm like, do they stack the box against him? And yeah, I'm probably staying away. James White.
Yeah.
I mean, his last 3 games.
I mean, can you play Sony Michelle like in a flex position? Like if
because you
you're
could always score 3 touchdowns.
well,
Okay, it's like it's always there.
Yeah.
right.
But so is 19 rushes for 20 yards. It's also there as well.
I mean, yeah, last game 10 for 33. The game before that 4 for 18, and 21 week 8 against the Browns, 21 for 74 yards, but no touchdowns. Only 7. I mean, even then, that's not that bad. 21 carries, 74 yards, but he only gets you 7.4 points because there's no receiving upside in there.
Yeah, PPR league, I might even really consider him for the most part. It's just a standard where I'm kind of like, all right, he can get in the end zone, and that's where I'm playing him.
Yeah.
Receivers.
I mean, I think it's just Julian Edelman, and that's it. I would feel comfortable. You just don't know what you're going to get with.
I'm
If we're not that
I'm
comfortable
playing
with
Philip Dorsett.
Is he playing this week? I know he was dealing with an injury.
As of right now, he's playing. I'm pretty sure.
Are you
Pretty sure, dude. He's questionable.
Are you positive?
He is questionable with concussion.
Yeah, he limited practices Thursday and Friday. So it's questionable, but I mean, yeah, I guess he has a touchdown upside for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, fucker.
If he had brain work, okay.
Yeah, Edelman and it's kind of pretty much Edelman for me, like I said. And then if Dorsett, like I almost started him last week, like in a desperation situation.
I did
because I had who was the Emmanuel Sanders was like that game time call, so I had him there as the backup if Sanders didn't play, and I was like, well, at least Dorsett has the touchdown upside, so that's where I was like, he was like my handcuff.
I made 2 beautiful last second substitutions.
Well, tell us about it.
Philip Dorsett, dude.
For who?
I think I moved some people around when. No, I don't remember.
Oh, great start.
Anyways, it's in a 3 wide receiver league, dude. I'm literally streaming that 3rd wide receiver every week. And then Ross Dwelly threw him in, dude.
Dwelly, we talked about that in the waiver wire, right?
Yep. I like to talk about myself a lot.
Patriots D. I mean, I feel like you don't bench him at this point.
No.
Unless you have like a top 3 option, like the Dolphins or something like that. Just kidding.
Just see if people are paying attention.
Like the Dolphins. I'm just doing the Dolphins over the Patriots D. Because you got to be a fucking lion. That's why, boys. The Chiefs are telling you to start those Pats D.
You got to play the Dolphins.
You got to walk alone. Literally alone. All right, Dallas Cowboys side of the ball. Dak Prescott, I mean, do you have his numbers up? I feel like even in the toughest matchups, he's been pretty much bust-proof this year for the most part. He hasn't maybe had huge games, but I don't know if he's had a game where you've been disappointed with.
He's definitely put in some good numbers.
He's the QB3 on the year. He's only had 1 game under 18 points. So he's been pretty solid, actually, across the board. Three straight games with 3 touchdown passes.
Dak Prescott wakes up in the morning and he says to himself,
"There's testosterone high today."
You know what I mean? Oh, you're not wearing headphones.
I mean, I like Dak Prescott. He obviously offers a little bit of rushing upside. Nothing crazy in the rushing side, the numbers, but he always offers that upside of being able to run one in for you.
Yeah, I think you'd have to have probably another top 8 to 10 option where that's where I'm not getting cute and fucking with these streaming options and these these guys where it's like, oh, they have a good matchup, but they're just an average quarterback. I'm not getting cute. It's like I'd have to have I'm trying to look right now. I don't know.
Play Mitch Trubisky.
Oh yeah, that's a top 5 option. No, I'm just kidding.
Tyler's all about it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Not over Dak.
I was like not over Dak. Don't mind him as like a stream QB this week. But yeah, starting Dak, Zeke. I mean, I know it's a tough matchup for the most part, but you're not benching Zeke by any means.
No.
We get over the receivers. We got Cooper Gallup. What's Cooper's latest on the injury status?
Pretty sure he's going to play.
Yeah, it's just like they're just monitoring his what's it called this week, right?
He's going to play, but he's going to see that shadow from Stephon Gilmore, who's been pretty solid. Been one of the best cover corners in the NFL.
Yeah.
But even then, I think you have to start him out of necessity of he's one of the best pure route runners in the game, and all it takes is one.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to bench him.
Yeah, you'd have to have like some really good options. Like I said, I guess Gallup's someone we could talk about him and Cobb for a second. I mean, you play either of these guys in this matchup, or you just kind of it's Cooper, and it's going to be hard to trust these guys in this matchup.
I mean, I think having Stephon Gilmore shadow Cooper can kind of maybe benefit Gallup, maybe because Cooper doesn't see as many targets as he normally would in an easier matchup. But I mean, since coming out of the bye, these PPR points for Gallup here, you got 11, 17.5, and 23.5. Those are just trending in the right direction, going up. I like Michael Gallup in this one. I think, like I said, they're going to focus on Amari Cooper and maybe shutting him down a little bit more. So, and obviously there's a real rapport and a real connection between Michael Gallup and Dak Prescott here. And if you feel comfortable playing Dak Prescott, I think someone's got to catch the ball, and if Cooper's going to get kind of limited by Stephon Gilmore, I mean, I'm not really sold on Randall Cobb or Jason Witten in this matchup. I'm not mad at Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm right there with you, dude.
Dallas defense, nah.
Yeah.
I guess it's.
I mean,
I
if
don't
Tom
know.
Brady's
It's like,
not in,
if Tom
what do you
Brady's
think?
out, yeah, then it's a different story. But if Brady's in, we just don't. It's. I mean, Brady doesn't turn the ball over that much, and he doesn't take a lot of sacks. So it's like, what's the? You just kind of you're banking on a low-scoring game in a sense at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be fading Dallas defense.
I'd be playing the Lions defense over them for sure.
San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. You got. Sorry, did I just make that backwards? The Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored by 3, and it's a 46.5-point over-under.
Let's start on San
It's
Francisco.
the Sunday night game, right?
They moved it, right? Didn't they?
No, yeah, they moved. No, that's the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Ah, dude.
Jump
we're doing
back.
Sunday night game. Check that.
Jumped
We
back,
already started,
dude.
So, you need to start at the quarterback side. Jimmy G. Zus.
I'd be fading Jimmy G this week. I mean, I think I saw something outside of the 2 games against the Cardinals, where one of the worst pass defenses. His numbers have been terrible.
Yeah, he's been pretty much not startable besides that.
Green Bay's defenses, I mean, they started off hot. They kind of like tailed off towards the middle of the season, but coming out of a bye, I think that defense, having that extra week to prepare always helps that defense there. So I'd be fading Jimmy G.
I agree.
The running backs, Tevin Coleman. I think Matt Breida's still out with an ankle injury or something like that. I think you're dialing up Tevin Coleman, but would you be starting like a Raheem Mostert maybe if you're in a pinch?
I think if it lines up correctly, I would play Raheem Mostert over like Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
I'd play him over not Lindsey. I'd play him over Balaj.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mostert
think-
out-touched Tevin Coleman last week.
It was. No, Tevin Coleman out-touched him.
It was not a flop.
12 carries for Coleman. Oh, wait. Yeah, 12 carries for Coleman. 6 for Mostert. 3 catches for Coleman.
That's not one you want to hear with
2
the
for
Tevin Coleman, huh?
Mostert. That was kind of like a. This was a game script where the Niners didn't really, or not game script, but they just didn't rush the ball like they normally do. Normally, you see them up in like the 30 rushes per game type of category. I think that's their game plan to try and keep Rodgers off the field, play defense, run the ball, win this game with defense and rushing, which they've been doing pretty much all year long. So I'm not mad at Mostert as a start.
Yeah, I definitely think he's almost a better start than some of these like actual starters. Like
Would you go him or Ronald Jones?
Him.
Him as in Mostert?
Yeah, Mostert. I play Mostert.
I think I'd lean that way too.
I play Mostert. Or what would you play, Mostert or Latavius Murray?
Latavius Murray.
Against Carolina's rush defense.
Latavius.
La 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 la. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. It's a hard one for me. I'd probably play Latavius Murray too.
Wide receivers. You got Debo, giving people Debos.
Debo Boner.
Samuel.
Debo Boner Samuel. He came in rock hard.
What if that's like his actual middle name? Really? He's like, bro, how these guys
It's
know my
Bonner.
middle-"
He's like, it's Bonner, dude. It's
Bonner.
fucking- It's called Bonner.
It's Debo.
Don't disrespect
Bonner.
me. My name is Bonner.
I mean, how do you feel? He's got the shoulder injury. I mean, he's coming off 2 monster games, 8 catches, 112 yards one week, 8 catches, 134 yards the next week, 19 and 21 points in PPR. I mean, do you feel a little comfortable with him here? I mean, it's a Sunday night game, so you got to be careful because Kittle's game time decision pretty much. So is Debo and so is Manny Sanders.
I think Kittle's on the probable side of it.
Yeah, I think
Kittle's going to be out there.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to play.
Yeah, and then Sanders, I don't know. I mean, it's iffy with him. If I play one, I'd probably still go Debo over Samuels just because there's the risk of the re-aggravation.
Debo or Sanders?
Yeah, there's Debo Samuel over Sanders because it's like with Sanders, it's like if that rib takes the wrong hit or if it's just they're limiting the snaps, and Debo's pretty much been out there for majority of the he's pretty much he's been the one in those 2 weeks where Samuel's been limited. So I'm probably avoiding the risk and going Debo over Sanders if I have to make that decision on those 2 receivers. And I'm probably fading Sanders this week. Just 4 targets, 5 targets. He's just not at 100% right now, so it's kind of hard for me to trust him.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable starting Debo Samuel, throwing him in your lineup? Tough matchup, kind of? Or?
I know he has decent like corner matchup, but I mean we've seen 7, 11, 10 targets 3 weeks straight now. So I do think there is some target safety to where we see, we talk about, Devontae Parker sometimes where it's like, yeah, he hasn't had these monster games, but when he's seeing 8, 9, 10 targets, 11, he's still getting you, 4 for 60 or 5 for 62. And I think that's kind of what you can see in this matchup.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, but Kittle's trending in the right direction for sure. But I mean, with that being said, are you taking a gamble on Kittle and leaving him in your lineup? It's a Sunday night game, so I mean, unless you'd have like to pivot to, I don't even know if there's like a Jimmy Graham, I guess, out there on the waiver wire, or Gerald Everett on the waiver wire.
I mean, I'm reading
Ross Dwelly.
Dwelly. Yeah, I would just grab Dwelly.
Yeah.
Grab Dwelly or Everett. I'm waiting. He's just too talented to not wait on.
Yeah.
Unless I have like one of those like if I had like Kittle and who's Baltimore's tight end, like Andrews. I'm not even fucking with him. I'm going Andrews, but it's like for the most part after like the top 5 tight ends, it's just ugly. So it's like I'd rather just wait it out and have that tight end who can get me 102 touchdowns instead of sitting here trying to, stream someone. So it's like I
just ask me who to stream because I did pretty good last week.
Mike's a boss, bro. He's a boss.
I'm just kidding. But I'm really good at football, fantasy football. You guys, what do you guys think San Francisco's defense?
I mean, they've showed up every week pretty much against everybody, so it's like
yeah, they're at home too. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers coming off a bye and that offense, everything, but I mean, I wouldn't sleep on the Niners defense at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can probably have a couple. You might have a couple other better options, but I'm still starting Niners D if I have to go and try and stream some kind of middle of the road option where I'm trying to get a little cute on the picks with it. I mean, I'm starting Niners D probably still in the top 12.
Yeah.
Just that defensive line, they can just generate pressure, get sacks, and we've just seen it week after week.
Yeah.
Green Bay side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, in a tough matchup for him, you playing him. I know they're the buyer. You fading him this week, and you think this is more of an Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams type of week.
I mean, it's been tough. He's been all over the place. I think we did the numbers where you take out that crazy 429 yards and 5 touchdown passing game, and he's only averaging like 17 points per game. I mean, even like last week, only 10 points. The week before that, 13 points and 27 points against the Chiefs. That monster 44-point game against the Raiders. But then after that, 18 points, 9 points. Just a couple media. If you saw these numbers right here, you wouldn't think these are Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, like if you took player X and Y and you didn't even know the name of it.
Yeah, he's only top 300 passing yards 3 times all year.
And San Francisco's given up the least yards per game through the air, 142 and 131 at home. So they're a tough defense to throw on. 5
of his 10 games, he's either thrown for 1 or 0 touchdown passes as well. So I mean, it's just a tough matchup here for him. I don't really like it. Like I would rather start like a Baker Mayfield over him, or Jameis Winston. Obviously, I start him over him. Let's see. Tannehill over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The numbers have been pretty gross. They're not Aaron Rodgers-esque numbers that you like to see. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I can't look. I don't know if Aaron. It's probably too hard to find the stat, but I'm curious to know his like primetime numbers, like his Sunday night matchup numbers, because I feel like they could be better numbers, but I also could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah.
But all I know his mustache fucks.
Yeah.
Straight
Dude,
up.
Mike, that's a real mustache.
That's a real mustache.
It truly is.
Man. It's a man mustache.
He's got some wrinkles on him. He's looking a little Brett Favre right there, dude.
And he's in his 30s.
Dude, chill. We're in our 30s.
We were just talking about one time. You're like, he's like 33 years old. I remember something. You're like, Michael's like, dude, you're the same age.
Yeah, you were talking about Adrian Peterson being super old, and I was like, you guys are very similar in the years you were born.
Yeah.
It is weird though. When I think Adrian Peterson, I think like an old man. Like when I look at Leonard Fournette, I don't think that I'm older than him. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he looks like a 40-year-old man.
But that's what I mean. But even him, or even Zeke, like I don't feel like I'm older than Zeke, but I'm definitely older than Zeke.
Yeah.
Unless I see him out.
How old are you again? 26? 5?
I'm 500, dude. 500, dude. Just like my fucking batting average, pussy.
You're salvaje. Devontae Adams, you start him. I'm not touching any of the other
Nah,
receivers.
Devontae Adams. That's it.
Jimmy G.
You got a bag.
other
Running backs.
Jimmy
You
G.
start Aaron Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're starting Aaron Jones.
What about Jamal Williams?
Yeah, don't hate it.
Yeah. He seems
Yeah,
to just be
I like it
consistently
over-
putting up numbers. It's a tough matchup, but
Say you didn't get say you weren't able to get what's it called any of these Colts running backs or Jonathan Williams or something. You lost Marlon Mack. How owned is Jamal Williams? He's pretty owned actually.
He's probably owned
Yeah.
more. You'd have to be in like a
Don't listen
10-man
to me.
league for the most part.
Don't listen to me. But yeah, I think I'd play him over some of these guys.
Yeah, and I mean he gets in, especially in a PPR format too. He's not getting a huge amount of carries, but he's getting pretty decent receiving work. So, in PPR format, I don't mind him as like a flex type of running back, or you're in a pinch, one of those pinch running backs.
yeah, I'm not mad at it either. Yeah, I think you can throw him in your lineup.
The other Jimmy G.
Probably not. He's been so pedestrian. Like it's nothing great.
he's been so pedestrian.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Don't hit him,
Yeah.
Don't fucking hit him, guy.
or do.
Hey, you're gonna suffer the consequences.
I'll tell you what. I'll start him over OJ Howard. That's
I
what
would start him with OJ Howard.
We're just every time from now on. Would you start him over OJ Howard? Yes, I would.
Everyone.
No brainer.
Would you?
Watch OJ Howard have like 115 and 3 this week. We're all over here like,
I hope he does. Dude.
I hope he does too. And then everyone starts from next week and 0.
Yeah, that'd be hot.
Yeah. All right. Green Bay's defense.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Coming off a bye, we kind of like said we've seen Jimmy G struggle against these other offenses. These other defenses that aren't the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I could fucks with it.
I like the Lions over them.
Yeah, I go with the Lions over him.
I just think the Lions are more. I don't know.
Well, they're higher on the food chain, so
Yeah.
just fucking science.
And a Packer.
And then a Packer. What are you gonna do with your boxes against the Lion?
Throw them at him. Put them in
You're
a
gonna
box.
capture it in the box.
Capture it in a box.
for like 4 seconds.
Put it on his head, like a cereal box.
Or you just have like a line of boxes and it's like trying to find you and you're just keep going from box to box.
Dude.
So give me an animal reference. I'm gonna start my own animal podcast, just where I just talk about weird animal things. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks.
The bird off.
The bird off. Philadelphia is favored by 1.5 points. That is 1.5 points. Seattle is
The Seattle Seagulls.
favored to lose by 1.5 points. 48-point over/under. This is in Philadelphia, where the Eagles reside. Philly side of the ball, Mr. Wentz. He's been pretty bad as of late, but
Pretty bad.
it's a pretty good,
Andy
decent
Dalton
matchup
Jr.
for him. So, I mean, how do you feel about Wentz?
I mean, I have Wentz in a couple leagues, and I'm teeter-tottering on the either him or Tannehill.
Teeter.
I mean, it's been pretty bad. The last 4 games, 12, 15, 14, 7. So you got 20 points after that, and then 12, 20, 20, 17, 25. So it's like all over the place. Hasn't hit 300 yards in 4 straight games. He's actually only topped 300 yards twice all year. So I don't know. It's pretty gross. It just depends, I guess, if Alshon's there. That obviously boosts the little bit of value. 'Cause you can't really trust Nelson Aguilar to be the guy there.
Yeah, he completely missed that
that teetering
touchdown.
baby.
Yeah, he teetered and tottered that ball until it went out of bounds.
I mean, what's your thoughts? Would you start like a Wentz or Tannehill?
I think it's Alshon dependent. Possible. I think if Alshon's there, I might lean Wentz. If he's not, then I go Tannehill.
I'm going Tannehill even if Alshon's there, just because Seattle's been pretty good this year. Don't you go?
I
Don't
think
you boys
they had
think?
like a stretch of like they were giving up a 300-yard passer for like 5 straight games. They are 29th in the league in passing yards, 325 yards over the last 3. It's just their pass defense it hasn't been that good. I think it's the one place where you can kind of expose them. So I'd probably say if Jeffrey's there, I'm probably going Wentz. If not, then I go Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean the numbers are just gross. I think it's 5 of the last 6 games he has only thrown for 2 touchdowns once out of those games. Every other game it's 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown. It's pretty bad. I mean, he only tops 250 yards one time in that span as well. So it's just, I mean, it's been pretty gross. I mean, some tough matchups though. You got the Vikings, Cowboys, Buffalo, Chicago, New England. So some tough matchups
that's what I was
there. I
gonna
mean,
say, is
days
he
are
had
getting
some
better
tough
down the
matchups.
stretch. I mean, you got Seattle. You said it's a good matchup. Then next week he gets Miami. That's a good matchup. And then you get the Giants and Washington weeks 14 and 15. So those are some good matchups too going down the stretch. So could help you when you get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Running back situation, you go with, what's his Miles Sanders?
Jordan Howard is out.
Or Jordan Howard, that's what I meant.
yeah.
Jordan Howard's out, right?
They signed Jay Ajayi. And then
He came back.
they said he's going to have a notable role or a sizable role this week. So, I mean, with that being said, Miles Sanders, I think you could play Miles Sanders with some confidence here.
Yeah.
But what about Jay Ajayi? You taking a flyer on it? You want to see it first? Or?
Yeah, I want to see it first. I want to see what role is cut out for him.
Are you picking him up and throwing him on your lineup or in your bench?
Yeah.
I thought about it right now. He's available in one league, and I thought about it, but I just didn't know who to drop for him.
I'm kind of in that situation too. But I'm kind of in a situation where it's like if I'm grabbing these Wayne Gallmans, these Tony Pollards and whatnot, is it worth to grab Jay Ajayi too? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
if
those
I'm
guys
already-
have more upside than a Jay Ajayi, but Jay Ajayi might have more week-to-week value, potentially.
Just depends when Jordan Howard comes back too, like how much is he going to get used?
his
It could be like a
situation.
weekly rental.
Yeah, for me, it's Miles Sanders, and that's that's it. I got to wait and see what his role is. It could be a 50% timeshare. It could be, he might be on the field for 10 snaps. He does know the offense, so I think it's more on he sees, maybe a 30%. But yeah, I got to see it first. I guess the receivers. If Alshon's there, he's probably the only guy you're really playing there, right?
Yeah, he's limited practice, the ankle injury, so he's questionable for the game. But I mean, if he does play, yeah, I'm definitely down on Alshon Jeffrey.
The tight ends, because you can consider starting both the tight ends at this point. You're playing Ertz, but what's your take on Goddard? I mean, I'm playing him in one league.
I mean, you can definitely beat the Seahawks, from the tight end position there. So, I mean, I guess it would be if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't play, then I'd have a little bit more confidence in Goddard. It just is, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. If Alshon Jeffrey plays, then I might be pivoting from him. I'd probably rather start like a Gesicki over him or Ryan Griffin. I know he's widely available. We keep talking about Ryan Griffin, so hopefully he doesn't put up a dud game. But yeah, I'd probably be starting those guys over like a Goddard.
Yeah, I just like I said, the one thing I like about Goddard is me and Mike talked about this when I was talking about picking him up is it's been since week 3 when he was he was kind of banged up the first 2 weeks of the season. It's been pretty much a 50% touchdown rate per game. So kind of almost a 1 and 2. He's getting you at least 3 catches over the last 6 weeks. On average probably about 40 yards, and then he's scoring pretty much every other game. So it's not like he's a great play, but he's not a terrible play. Like you said, if Alshon Jeffrey is out, I think you do get a little bump from him. Philly's defense.
Nah, not against
The Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
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 You starting Wilson?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's
You
pretty much
starting-
MVP candidate next to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you starting Carson? Yes.
What about a Brandon Allen? Just kidding. Okay, sorry. That was my joke on but that was actually me trying to point out that there's a lot of backup quarterbacks this year, so it's like obviously you're playing Russell Wilson.
Dude, that's a good point out.
Yeah, I
Totally
know.
got your joke.
Thank you.
Totally not.
You know what everybody says? They're like, Mikey, I get all your jokes, dude. They're all so good. That's what everybody says to me.
So everybody says to you?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like,
But-
guys, I know.
It's like, dude, I don't
Chill.
get this fucking weird animal dude on the show, but I get you.
Yeah, that's what they say. They're like, you look really white and but
Yeah.
I get your jokes.
I
That's
hear a lot
what
of
they
people are
say.
like, dude, is your roommate / average bro? Is he Asian?
That's what they ask, but then I'm like, oh, I guess Asians do have straight hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm Asian.
I guess you are.
All right.
All right. Wide receivers. Sorry, my injury updates are not the freshest. Tyler Lockett, is he still questionable, or what's his latest?
He's trending in the right direction. He's going to play.
I like to hear that. So if he's there, you play him. Pretty plain and simple. Well, what about the DK? I mean, the Philadelphia, I think, they might be 31st or 32nd against the pass. Nope, they're a little bit better than that. I lied. No, that's the run.
They're pretty bad. They're stout against the run, but they're pretty bad against the pass.
Yeah.
I mean, you're starting Tyler Lockett. I think, Josh Gordon and DK Metcalf are probably the questionable ones. I mean, DK Metcalf is still, I think it's second, he's second in the NFL in terms of end zone targets. So he's got the touchdown upside right there. I mean, 48-point over-under. So it's pretty high scoring game, Vegas thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can start DK Metcalf. It'd probably just be Josh Gordon. Wide receiver 3, flex guy.
I'm probably not. I'm probably staying away.
Just kind of want to see it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean we were barely seeing it in New England, so it's like I mean at this point he's starting to get a little older. Is he separating like he used to? Is he lost a gear? The snap percentage was low last week, and Pete Carroll's one of those guys that he's kind of loyal to. He's loyal to, like, I mean, you've seen Chris Carson fumble multiple times to start the year, and he was like, nope, it's Chris Carson. So I think DK Metcalf's the 2, the 1, or the outside 1, you got Lockett, and then, Moore, Turner, or David Moore's going to get some snaps, and Gordon's going to get his snaps. So I'm probably staying away from Gordon at this point.
For sure, yeah, I agree. Hollister, the tight end, I think you can dial on him up.
Yeah.
I think pretty much whoever the tight end is in this system, I think Russell Wilson just kind of leans on him. It's like he's a red zone weapon, They have specific plays, I feel, drawn up when they get in the red zone or inside the 10-yard line that are for the tight end. So, yeah, I like Hollister this week.
They should just all wear the same number.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is hurt. All right, here's my jersey. We're putting Hollister on the back. Hollister gets hurt. Oh, okay. Here, Luke Wilson, you're gonna wear that number now.
They should. That would be so hot.
Like Hansel hot, like Hollister hot. With that big ass bird in the middle of his chest.
You playing?
Is that funny? His name's ironic. His name's Hollister, and he plays for a bird team. And
Whoa.
Bird bro.
Yeah, but which I feel like the Eagles has the most bird looking like that logo. Like the logo looks most like the Hollister bird.
It does look like the Hollister bird.
Isn't that Abercrombie? Which one's Hollister?
Hollister has the bird.
Okay.
I only know because
I agree.
T-shirts.
Yeah, you look like.
I was trying to fit in. I was like, I'll get a Hollister shirt, and I'm like, fuck this shirt.
That was my first job. I used to work at Hollister.
I got
No
hired.
way.
I never showed up.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Your big cousin got you a job or what?
No, I got my own job, bro. And I never showed up.
Oh, you're right. Hollister. There it is. That's like a seagull.
It is kind of like a sea gay.
I mean seagull. You mean
Mine?
seagull.
Mine? All right, Monday night matchup. We made it, boys. We're almost there. If you're still
Monday-
listening, keep listening. We have one more game. We're almost
Monday
there.
night.
We got the Baltimore
Monday
Ravens.
Night Football is brought to you by Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Okay.
You're pretty good at that voice.
Brought to
Give you
you
that.
by.
If that guy ever perishes, you could take his job.
How do you know I'm not that guy?
It's a
You
valid
trying to
point.
wish me dead, dude?
Dad, jail. So Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles.
Rams. I just switched my
Dude,
camera.
you got to get better than that. All right, Baltimore is favored by 3 points. This game is in LA Soccer Field Stadium. 46.5 over under.
No, the Rams don't play the soccer one. They play the Coliseum.
Oh yeah,
It's the Chargers.
It's the Chargers.
Yeah.
Same city.
You know what
Different
I'm
team.
talking about, dude.
Lamar Jackson, you're starting him. Mark Ingram, you're starting him. I'm thinking receivers. Marquise Brown.
I'd be fading Marquise Brown. You should see a shadow from Jalen Ramsey, and I'll go Ramses over Marquise
not
Brown
been the
here.
best since he's been there.
Yeah, but Marquise Brown's like 5'4".
He falls
You know what I'm
over.
I just don't like. I don't know.
I'm agreeing. I'd probably stay away too. I mean, any other receiver? No.
No.
Mark Andrews?
Yeah, obvious.
Yeah, agree. I feel like Baltimore's pretty self-explanatory
Yeah.
at this point.
Play the good guys and be weary of the not
The
so
Marquise.
consistent guys.
Balls defense. Baltimore's defense. Sorry, I'm a Orioles
Yeah, you're
fan. So
playing-
I'm so used to seeing the BAL at Baltimore for the Orioles. Like when I used to watch them more. So when I saw
right.
the Baltimore, I just said ball. So I was like
Okay,
balls
yeah.
defense. It wasn't like I was saying like actual balls. It was like balls defense.
I get it. I get it.
I was just describing to you how my brain works.
Hey, I like the Ravens defense against Jared Goff has been like how we like to say Jared off. Okay. All right. So yeah, no, I like Ravens defense. I think I can see it.
They've been hot like Hansel over the last 3 weeks.
They've been hot like Hansel.
Yeah. They've been doing that pull the underwear out of the pants trick.
That defense is so hot right now.
Yeah, I don't mind Baltimore's defense either. Well, with us saying we don't mind Baltimore's defense, Jared off. Are you off or on?
I'm off.
He is at home.
You on or off?
I'm off.
I'm
Off.
Off.
You
I'm
are.
off.
You are the weakest link. See ya, Jared.
I mean, you're starting Gurley. I think last week might have been Gurley's best week, maybe.
He
He played
had
good
lots of rushing attempts.
I think he had a receiving and a rushing touchdown. Maybe that's just the first time he had both of them.
Well, they gave him the ball like how they used to.
That he used to, yeah.
It was very, very reminiscent
of the old times.
of the old
old
times.
times.
Oh, the old. We just gave you a shit ton of money. Here you go. Here's the ball. 5,000 times in a year.
You're starting Gurley. What about the receivers over here? You're starting Cup. It's the.
You got to start Cooper Kupp. It's just Goff leans on him. I know that one game he had 0 points, but that was a
fluke.
That's a fluke.
We've seen Mike Evans have 0 points.
Yeah.
We've also seen him have 400.
We've seen OJ Howard have 0 points too. But that's just
OJ Howard. What about the Woods and Reynolds? I mean, you consider any of these guys, or is it too tough a matchup to trust?
I mean, Robert Woods is supposed to come back, and so is Brandon Cooks after the lengthy.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah,
he's been in the kitchen
concussion. So he's supposed to be coming back too. So, I mean, those two guys, that'd be kind of tough here. I'm in a dilemma of, do I start Brandon Cooks in one of my leagues? He's for my flex spot. I just don't know if I can trust Goff enough. So I'm kind of worried about it. But he does offer the home run upside. I mean, what's your thought? I'm like lost at it. You know, I'm not even sure what to do in this one.
Oof, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You feel comfortable playing Cooper Kupp, but that's
for me that's probably it. Even Woods and I don't know, man. He's been pretty bad the last few weeks, and that Ravens defense has looked better since they got Jimmy Smith back, right? 3 weeks ago.
Got Jimmy Smith and then traded for Marcus Peters, who's already got 2 pick sixes already.
Yeah, so it's been that defense has been a lot better. I'm probably Kupp. It's the only Kupp I'm drinking out of.
Yeah. Ooh, gosh. Who did you pick up off the waiver? You just say that.
Huh?
What?
Who did you pick up off the waiver? Brandon Cooks?
I picked Brandon Cooks up in one league off the waiver wire. I don't know if I'm going to start him this week, though.
Right. Just curious, just because I don't really have very many Rams wide receivers, but yeah. Just thought you had a little.
I think I might just say fuck it and go for it. Send it in. No flub.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, it's pretty gross. I mean, could he come out there and give me 2 catches for 34 yards? Yeah. Could he come out there and give me 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck it, send it in.
I was listening to the mic.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that earlier. I was whispering something, and he went like this into the mic. I'm like, that's not how this works.
You said teeter totter, so we were like in the background, like we were like teeter, and he's like totter, and I was like teeter.
And then I look over, and this fool is putting his fucking ear up to the microphone.
Well, I don't even have headphones plugged in.
God. Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm getting better. LA Rams defense, negative. Oh, wait, I forgot the tight end, Gerald Everett.
Do you like it? Do you like Gerald Everett?
I don't like him this matchup right here.
Yeah, I don't either. Not in this matchup.
Well, Jared Goff's got to throw the ball to somebody, boys.
It's going to be Cooper Kupp and Todd Gurley.
Okay.
And then one of Brandon Woods or Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods.
They just fused. If they could make one player, I'd start that player.
Yeah.
If I could start Robert Cooks or Brandon Woods, I would start that guy.
That'd be hot.
Because I think those guys can combine for a solid.
That'd be hot like Hansel.
Yeah. And that's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote. Listen, boys. We did it. We climbed the magic mountain. We
Went in the Goliath, the Superman. Their revenge.
We climbed the magic mountain. We what else did we do? We told you who to play. We told you who not to play. And if you don't listen to our advice, you will lose your fantasy football this week.
It's inevitable.
It's week 12. It's important. Very important.
There's only 2 weeks left.
Only 2 weeks left.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
It's gross.
Gross.
Stupid.
So dumb.
Get bodied.
Yeah, get bodied. Okay. This has been episode 48 of the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. If you want to see us ram our heads into our microphones, do all that kind of noise, go check us out on Instagram. We're posting the full episodes there. And check us out on YouTube. While you're on YouTube, subscribe. Okay? Like this video.
Subscribe.
Thumbs up. Comment. All these things.
Like. Just anything that'll go red, click it. Minus the dislike. Don't click it.
Yeah, don't click that one.
Right.
If you click that one, we'll come to your house and fuck you.
Mike might do that.
We're gonna Okay, thank you for listening. This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. I don't got much for you at the end of this one. Just subscribe, just like our videos. Follow us on Instagram at AverageBros_fantasy football. And us little boys are out. Good luck this week.
Good luck.
You're gonna need it, but not really, because you just got all the best advice in the world. One lion to another. We're out.
I think I hear it.
She was horny.